Yeah, I think it's Friday, right? Stream should be live now. Nope. Did not think. Okay. Okay. Also, yeah. Oh, yeah, I have to stay quiet. So, if you guys are watching, it's like a little bit loud right now. They're partying down there. Sorry, that is being a bit loud right now. Yeah, it's like really loud. I hope that, doing this reading stream, my voice will gotta overpower, the loudness down there. And this like part of like Vietnamese culture too. We really like loud karaoke for some reason. Personally, I don't like it. Sorry. Okay, I think everything should be ready for the stream now. Good evening, buddies. It's your girl, Ashley. Yeah, I did this. Sorry, that's Ashley, and you're watching my stream. My bad. I did this. Sorry, that's totally shut up. Like, what is better? And today, we'll be doing wow, ASMR reading. Yeah, that's right. For this Christmas occasion, we'll be reading the first Warhammer Xmas theme book about the red Gobbo in the annoyance carrying a revolution to rescue all the Christians. The Gobbo's village. Sorry, hold on. Okay, truth be told, I haven't read earlier this one. I wanna write a story about slave revolution would be relating to a Christmas theme, but apparently it is. So, without further ado, we can go right into the red couple. This is written by Mac Brooks. I haven't read like a lot of Warhammer books before. What's wrong with my models right now? Hold on. So this is written by Mike Brooks. I haven't read a lot of Warhammer books, so but that name is a bit. That name does ring a bit to me. I think he is like the author of a lot of Warhammer books. So yeah, I'm trying to like turn my whisper kind of like tone. I'm trying to find like a best kind of like ASMR voice for this. So this is the red Gobbo. We have the black library. You can visit Game Workshop and buy your books. Even though it's like a PDF that I found online. Oh yeah, I think every Warhammer books does have this intro, right? For more than 100 centuries, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. I have to get into the roleplay voice. He is the master of mankind by the might of his inexhaustible armies. A billion worlds stand against the dark. Yet he is strong. He's a rotting carcass, the guardian lord of the Imperium, held alive by marvels from the dark age of technologies, and the 1,000 souls sacrificed each day, so his may continue to burn. Hold on. To be a man in such times is to be one amongst untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and the most bloody regime unimaginable. It is to suffer an eternity of carnage and slaughter. It is to have cries of anguish and sorrow. Oh my god. It's hard for me to do this voice. By the thirsting laughter of the dark gods. This is a dark and terrible era where you will find little comfort or hope. Forget the power of technology and science. Forget the promise of progress and advancement. Forget any notion of common humanity or compassion. There is no peace among the stars, for in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. Wow. Oh my god. This hurt my throat a bit. Hold on. Yeah. So, hold on. Okay, so I can assume that this. I can assume that is like the first book of the series. So, hi there, Sasura. Thank you for coming to this ASMR reading stream. I'm Sister Ashley. Today we are reading some heresy from the orcs. Why they might be celebrating false idol. Sister, hello there. I am a bit late, but eventually arrived for the stream. Yeah, we have a Christmas too. Okay, this is the problem. Okay, if you don't know, there's like a party. There's like a party downstairs. So, it's like really loud. It's like really loud right now. So, if you guys don't really mind the noise. Sorry. Okay. This is like my first time reading any Warhammer books. Making trouble? I assume this is the name of the chapter. Death was everywhere, and it was going boom a lot. Thingweed covered down and whimpered as a boom of applause pounded past him, howling with glee at the prospect of a decent scraps. Ox doing what ox do, and firing off their sluggers, for your uncultured mind with a pistol. More out of delight than any real attempt with the enemies. You know how the elves fight the enemy? They're always like, wah, and then they just hold their pistol and then shoot everywhere just because it's, it's kind of like fun for them to do that. I shall regurgitate of a war and scream of a female school before he even realized he should be ducking. So close to his skin that it felt like... Is this book like the first book? I assume it is. So close to his skin that it felt like it had cut a furrow right over the top of his head. He drew in a... Also, by the way, I'm gonna say this later, but he drew in a reflexive brace to shout in outrage, but the syllables died before they reached his throat. There was no chance of the owl hearing him, and if it did, it would likely just kick him back down the corridor. Crabs didn't talk back. Sorry, I'm a bit loud. Crabs didn't talk back to orcs, at least not if they wanted to give all their limbs a touch.
Alright, fingers, listen up.
A gargantuan voice bellowed and faintly cringed as clouds something stiff heralded the arrival of the scared, towering orc himself. I thought the orcs always goes with like they, them, whatever. claws must an evil son make. Evil sons was the one who like go fast and stuff. And had been. Let me drink some water as well. It had been a jumping good fun until an accident involving an overcharge because the mega blaster saw him lose both his hands. He had replaced them with a power claw on each wrist. Yeah, the ox too. So I believe that ox often feel no pain. So when they get decapitated, they would just usually work on the new bodies. Do you know that an orc could take a body part from like a different orc and then it just stick to them? It's kind of crazy, but they are essentially not even like animals. They are like more like plants, right? So and you know that plants usually you could attach like plants with like different roots and then shear them. So I think it's kind of like that. Also like Frankenstein, plants, monsters, fungus, whatever, right? Which made him a terrifying opponent for enemies, such as the Yumis. Which they had just spotted. They even worse than plants. They are filthy females. Filthy cedos. Heresy. That left him unable to do anything involving digital dexterity. Which when you wake up back was quite a lot of what you were expected to do. Right, hold on. Alright, which was where the fingers came in. Fingmeat was the nominal boss of this crew of grots. You know, the grots are like smaller goblins that serves the orcs. In a mush. Wait. What does that mean? In a smush. Okay. Because as Klaus blamed him if the others did something wrong. Then there was Gobbo. Sorry. Who kept a colony of hair squeaks on his chin. I forgot about the hair squeak. I forgot about them. Okay, so the funny thing about the ox is that they have a species named Squeak, And I believe that they also comes from like fungus and stuff, but they are essentially like they are cattle. And the funny thing is that they are, I think it's like, squeak is kind of like a concept. Like, people would say like dogs, but there are like so many different kind of dogs. Like, shepherd, German shepherd, like coyote, different poodle, different kind of dogs. But essentially, what the squeaks do the orc is that they can be anything. So, and by that I mean literally everything. Like, there's squeak of different size. There are squeaks that are just small, like dog size. And there are squeaks who's like, as big as like a dinosaur. And they ride them to battles, which is kind of crazy. And then there are like some squeak which is used for like so many different weird stuff. Like, as you can see, like hair squeak is. I don't know how squeak could even be hairs for dogs. Let me search this. How could they be like? How would the hair squeak even works? So sort of in as much basically to the extent that, okay, I see. Hair squeak. Those doesn't even look like squeak. They don't look like squeak at all. I swear. Maybe they should make. I don't know why they just call everything squeak. Maybe squeak is just like the equivalent of animals for orcs, but they're like different kinds of animals, and there's like animals there's like a squeak that is basically act like hairs for them, which is kind of funny. Talking about like synthetic wig or non-synthetic wig to the extreme. Yes, wig. Those are a thing. Those are really a thing. So they do grow different animals for different squeak for like so many different stuff. I don't really know how the old one managed to come up with like so many different fascinating stuff like that. Some of the squeak are like specifically breeded by dogs. I don't really know. Hold on. Okay, a colony of hair squeaks on his chin in imitation of claws. And because he thought it made him look good, Dusty was small even for growth, and useful for squeezing or being shoved unwillingly into tight space to get things unjammed. Squeak and Flish would look so much alike that they had their own teams. By the way, sorry that I'm going back to the topic of hair squeak, but like, I think those things are like alive, right? Oh, sorry for being loud. I think those things are like alive or something like that, right? Or like they did or something. Because if they are alive, you essentially have to feed them and stuff like that. You have to feed them food, right? And then and then why it's like stuck on your body. Essentially, it has to poop. And where would even the hair squid poop? Like, are they gonna like poop straight into the orc face or something? But I don't know. Okay, speaking of fish who look so much alike that they have their own names written on their foreheads, so they could remember which one they were and who were fascinated by shiny objects. Sastoro, they are dead skin. Oh, they eat their skin. Oh, that kinda makes sense, yeah. And the booze had that truth. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. So it's like, it's just like your hair. Yeah, essentially you have to wash them every once in a while. Yeah, it's kind of like your hair. So maybe that's. I mean, it does make sense though. I would believe it. Fascinated by shiny objects in Ratak. Most simple digits were perfect. Sorry. Fine wiring that were more often put to use by stealing someone else's food. Between them, they theoretically made up close lack of hands by doing what he told them. However, as the Meg himself had often declared, the difference between theory and results was a suckload of swearing.
These human thought they could lay a trap for the backlord phrase, but they weren't expecting us to board them.
Klaus groaned as each finger stood as straight as he could.
Now the backlord want this trip under his control, and he don't like being kept waiting. The boys will take care of that, not like you'll be any use there.
He groveled with a laugh, and a Fingwit. There's so many noises. Fingwit smiled obediently and a little nervously. Klaus seemed to be in a good mood, but that good mood could turn faster than a cyber nitrous.
Now our job is not to get up the guns.
Klaus said. I just think, try to like think of like how the orcs speak. Klaus said with a grin that exposed his plentiful, large teeth.
Then when we got in, we had to throw their brownies with them. Those Brilliant!
Rata fight them.
They'll never expect to shoot by their own guns. Wow! Gross, it's brilliant, your little bits.
Klaus snarls. Yeah, chase Elvis. This why I love voice acting the orcs. Oh my god, it's so fun. They just talk really funny. Oh, traces of his good mood instantly evaporating. Hold on. Let me drink some water.
It's the Midlord's plan. The Midlord is the greatest brain of the orcs I've ever heard.
He jabbed at Ratak's chest with one of the prongs of his right power claws, causing the crowd to jerk back against the wall to avoid being casually impaled on it.
Did I ask your opinion of the Midlord's plan, round 3?
Okay, how do I voice that plot? Yeah, boss. Yeah, that makes sense. Ratta squealed, shaking his head so desperately that his ears flew back and forth across his face, and one hit him in the eyes. Fingrid could not suppress his a snicker as his fellow grots yapped in pain. But luckily for him, Klaus found it funny as well. They just find it funny to abuse the saints. The mech threw his head back and laughed, the red-clad book of his chest, and was stomach heaving as he did so.
Don't think so.
He sobered as abruptly as he had begun to laugh and lowered down on them all, then reached up to scratch the bushy mass of white hair squeak that completely obscured his jawline.
Follow me, then, if you don't mess this up, this extra lunch won't eat it for you.
But if you don't mess it up, boss? Dusik asked in a small voice.
Then you'll be lunch.
As Klaus said, beaming nastily. As trio of Meganauts Fingrid recognized as ruckus destroyers climb. I just love the names. Climbing past behind Klaus, clad in feathers blading as thick as the Fingrid's chest was deep and belching smoke from the winding power generator of their bikes. Oh yeah, you guys remember? It kind of reminds me of this. Oh, hold on, I forgot I have a Vtuber avatar. I was about to show my new boss. But yeah, essentially they have like big power machine at the back of them. It's a power generator. It's crazy. Fingrid was awestruck as the giant shape shot onwards, bedecked with massive gun barrels. with and bristling with explosive rockets, their sizzling power claws and the straining gear saw powering up, ready to deliver messy evisceration and truly obscene amount of dagger to the luckless humans who were trying to defend their ships. Sorry. Somewhere a bit or two further down on the corridor. He had never wanted to be a human, but right at this moment Fingrid was even more rightful to cock and know that he wasn't one. The human's died. Being a grot was a tough life, given that an orc might be at any moment decide to use you as a slave. Target practice. Yeah, they really got abused, don't they? But I kind of feel bad for them, honestly. I kind of feel bad for the orcs. I mean the Gretchen. But, this like the word of Warhammer 40k. It's just a normal thing. It's just a normal Tuesday for the orcs. A meal, but being a Yuppie had to be worse. Copium, they coping.
Get your heads down if you want to keep them on your shoulders.
Yeah, boom. Jovially? Oh, joyfully. Skylight joyfully. And set off in the wake of the walking minnows. Their fingers scuttled after him, touched up so close together that Fingrid almost feels like he was part of the single organism with 6 heads, 12 legs, 12 arms, and sufficient firepower. He had also been just to the front again. He quickly checked the chambers of his blaster as they hurried along on closed heels. It was a simple weapon, but then again, what great weapon wasn't? It kind of reminds me of how they're orcs with like really unconventional weapons, and if I remember correctly, one of the models have an orc use a Gretchen as a weapon. I kind of forgot the name. I forgot the name of the model. Was it? It was like a big gun, big energy gun or something like that, but I forgot. Oh well. Fingrid had built it himself, painstakingly putting the bits together. Was it a shock attack gun? Hold on. Oh yeah, this one, yeah. This one. Do you see this model? Do you notice this, like, look at this model, right? So now he's like using like some sort of energy weapon. If I remember correctly, this create like a wormhole or something like that. But it kinda requires some live ammunition, so to say. If you catch my drifts. So, look at this model. He just straight up using this Gretchen as a weapon. It's so fucked up. I'm sorry. This is so crazy. Philip has Philip himself painstakingly putting the bits together until it no longer blew up into thick hand when Philip made him testify it. It had 8 chambers, each one loaded, and it has various space pair rounds secreted away. Since past experience had taught him that this weak in fish obsession with shiny objects extended to the stealing other grots' ammo if they could see it. It was, it's like survival of the fetus. Yeah. Hold on. Drink some water, yeah. Sorry about that. Sister, in blood bowls. In Blood Bowl, American football in a Warhammer Fantasy universe. Oh, okay. Hold on. I just cough a lot today. Large characters like ogres can throw small characters like halfling instead of the ball. Yeah. I guess it's the abuse is there on Warhammer Fantasy too. I guess every Warhammer universe is just kind of fucked up, isn't it? Like, it's not just 40k, although I think people kind of like exaggerate the extreme of the Warhammer 40k universe. Sister are holding the ball so they can instantly land in the end zone and score the touchdown. Oh, I see. So it's kind of like if you, when you launch the balls, it's kind of like you launch a Gretchen. Like a goblin, a small goblin with a bow, right? With a bow, right? And then they hold the balls and then they land on the, when they landed, they will, if it missed right, if the ball missed, the Gretchen will also, they will just walk towards the goal. Something like that to boost accuracy. I kind of see how it kind of works. Technically it's interesting, but I don't know if the Gretchen can survive being kicked around like that. Let me just be frank. It was good enough, I suppose. It would put a hole in a Yumi, so long as they win one of the colors most armor. The thing we dreamed of a proper gun. Oh, how glorious that would be! A custom mega blaster, like the one that I've blown up and taken Klaus. Wait, what is a mega blaster? Let me see. Oh yeah, it's like it's kind of like the weapon that Flash Kid used. Yeah, yeah. It's basically like a machine gun or something like that. It shoots like really powerful dagger. Says that if you miss, they might land on the crowd who will beat them up and cause an injury. Oh my god. That's crazy. Let me refresh my Twitch. Like the one that had blown off and taken Klaus' hands off. Well, not exactly like that one. Probably that one that didn't explode. Which fired a blinding beam of energy that could not through even the strongest made of blading. Dogs. I'm so distracted with like different noise right now, I'm sorry. A rocket, shut up doggies. A rocket launcher which could blow off and take other people's hands off from a safe distance. So for you anyways, at least most of the time. I love this practice thingy. It's like a lot of like outer snort, you know. A big shooter. Shut up. A big shooter which could spit out more slugs. Why would they call it slug? Like, I don't get it. Why do they call sluggers a pistol? I just don't get it. Then Finway's entire blaster held in the time it would take him to sneeze. Finway had few long-term aim in his life, since he was mainly concerned about the short-term consideration, like not getting squished in whatever piece of machinery Klaus had him fixing. Wait. Okay. Stepped on and squashed flat by a death threat. But he really wanted the gun so big that the recoil when he fired it would knock him off his feet. It was never happened though. No one would face a gun like that on a crowd. Not unless he managed to end up on the crew of one of the big mix gun. But that would never happen when Klaus was still around. Besides, it still wouldn't be his guns. It would belong to whatever's make had built it. And it would be operating it with half a dozen other grass to boot. No, the only other way a crowd would get a decent gun would it be if he was right into a killer clan. Oh yeah, the killer clan. I like dreadnoughts. I think. And that was a one-way trip. Yeah. It might be worth it, but it would still rely on Klaus letting Fingrid live his sacrifice for any reason other than the sudden onset of death. As it was, Fingrid only real option was to hurry along after class. Hope that the Meganos would deal with any Yumis that might take shots at them and be ready to shove one onto other fingers in front of them in case it looked like there wasn't going to be the case. Let me drink some water. The floor was suddenly softer and rather more squishy than Finwis was expecting, and his foot slipped from beneath him, sending him into the wall. The rest, pressed up close behind him, stumbled in their turn, and then Finwid was in a failing mass of arms, trying to latch on to something to remain upright.
What?
Sorry.
What the fuck are you lot up to?
Klaus bellowed as Finwid managed to keep his feet biting up, grabbing flesh. The other grot energy up, face planting, but the momentary support was enough for Finwid not to fall, and he took a look downwards at what had caused others' problems. I got it on feet, boss, he reported. He hadn't seen the mango's Yumi's remain before he trod in it, and now his right foot was striking red spears around. There were more bodies in the upcoming corridor section, he saw now. Clearly, this was where the defenders' first tombstone had taken place, only to be smashed apart by whichever mob of blood had been first out on the Q breakers. Let me see how he looks like. Oh, potting torpedoes. Oh, I like torpedoes. Yeah. So it's kind of like a pod full of troops that landed on the other ships. Kind of reminds me of Warframe a bit.
Get up, or you'll have one less foot to go, sticking and fights.
The big mist roared, and Finwid hurried to obey. He could hear the thump and crump and dark hive explosions and gunfire coming from ahead of them now. And why those were not normally some towards which he would hurry. Given Ork's tendencies to use the crowd as bullets shields and his own decidedly inadequate firepower, if he had to enter such a battle, then there was no better way to do it behind the three meganobs. Also, he wanted to keep both his feet. When you were a big assistant, quote-unquote, you might have a better chance than the average crowd of receiving a prosthetic leg, even one more advanced than a simple wooden peg. But there was absolutely no guarantee that it wasn't going to be an experimental contraption that could maim you in some other interesting way. Hold on. Sorry. Hold on. They sometimes like to test their ideas for such things before they risk feeding them to powerful individuals like knobs in crowd with the perfect candidate. Just a rocket food could have told anyone that had his replacement leg not propel him into the side of the kraken with lethal force. The corridors. I want to see how the kraken looks like. Oh, that's a big boy. That's a big boy. Wow. The corridors were showing greater signs of battles now, with massive holes where ox shells has missed their intended target and detonated, and huge flowers of snooty donkeys were scratches and incinerated everything in their paths. They were all corpses, those boys who had been shot enough times that even their hardy constitution could no longer drive them onwards. And Fingweed cast a lodging glance at a drop slugger, a simple gun by Ox standard, but is still much bigger and more powerful than the one he clutched between his sweating palms. However, the Yumis were by far the more numerous bodies littering the floors, blown apart by gunfire or carved up by choppers, and leaking everywhere. I assume they're just, normal humans, not Space Marine, yeah. There was no way to avoid getting it on his feet now. Ratak. Maybe it was Ratak boss on Fingweed. Ratak kissed. Yeah.
Yeah, no. How the red one go faster?
Yeah, Fingweed replied, wondering where in the name of Gox Green Rata was going with this.
Don't you suppose that's why the he'll be bleed so easy?
Oh my god. That's kinda funny. Ratak asked Vic paused for a moment to yank something small and shiny and ring off the dead Yumi's hat. Hold on.
This that's really breakfast and the squeal ain't tough. So when they got caught, they all run out real quick.
Never really thought about it, Fingweed said non-committedly. Everyone knows that the red one went faster. Of course, red one goes faster. Of course, Klaus was an evil son, so all the fingers were too. Even if they would never say so, an orc could hear them because orcs didn't like just getting ideas above themselves. And nothing went faster than an evil sun, because evil sun were red. Golf might think that they were meaner, and snake bites might think they were tougher. Bad moons might think they had the better guns. That's cool. Bad moon were the one with like a lot of money. God are like, I think God is like the strongest race in like Warhammer 40k Oz right now. And they wear blacks, like, you know, gods. Sorry. Desco might think they were luckier. I can't remember their schools. And Bloodaxe. Oh yeah, the Bloodaxe. The Bloodaxe are like the most... They're like so funny. So, you know how all the orcs, all the different orcs faction, they tend to be pretty cutthroat, and they are like, they're kind of like a tribal society that they don't really care much about technology or like strategy, you know. For them, for a lot of them, might is right. But the Bloodaxe are like the orcs who use like military tactics, and they act a lot like humans, and they are like very intelligent in a lot of their warfare methods. And I love them for it. I kind of love them for it. Like, they're just so unconventional compared to other orcs. Like, if you look at some of them, right? If you look at some of them, they look like, you know, normal soldiers. Kind of like, they look pretty close to Imperial Guards. And they do use like actual technique and like strategy, and it's kind of like with the orcs, see them, they are not really the spirit of the orcs, right? For the orcs, they really like warfare. For them, warfare is like drug, right? It releases serotonin for them, and it allows them to reproduce. So when the orcs goes to war with anyone, they just charge in and deal the most damage as possible. They don't think about like if the strategy is brilliant or it would win them the battle. They didn't think about winning the battle, right? The orcs don't think about winning battles. They just want to go to battle for fun. So when they see a different tribe like the Bloodaxe who actually use tactics, and they would be a bit sneaky around their warfare, like they would patiently wait for the ambush, or they would like use counter weapon and superior weapons and try to counter the enemies without like, you know, and they actually use their brain instead of just going straight there and crumb the enemies. For the other orcs, it's like really unorthodox. I'm just saying. And Bloodaxe might think they were sneakier, and they undoubtedly were sneakier, because sneaky, well, if they were sneaky, they would wear purple. But then again, nobody would see a purple orc. Was nothing to be proud of in an orc I thought Mark would approve that, right? I thought being sneaky would get Mark's approval or something. And a bloodhouse scrub could slap you in the face and steal your teeth while he was there. But the evil son left the other clans in the dust when it comes to actually getting somewhere first. You know, because they're red and red go faster. Sorry. It was no good being leader or tougher if somebody else had killed the enemy's kids before you got off. Yeah, as I said, they just care about getting a good fight. So, you know, for other xenos and like species, killing an enemy is right. Destroying an enemy force would be a good thing, right? But for the orcs, if the other orcs get out of fun and kill all the enemies, where's the fun left for them, you know? Even so, I think it was unsure if the same logic applied to humans and their strange ways. They sort of seem to have clans in that humans in one place dress differently to humans in another place and might even fight a bit differently. But as for the blood moving more quickly just because it was red. Wait. I was thinking, do orcs bleed? I think orcs have to have blood, right? But I'm not really that used to their anatomy. I thought they're like mushroom and, you know, plants they usually don't bleed. Unless you're like a tree and maybe there's some sapling that would come out. Would you consider slapping, you know, sapling like their blood? Nah, reckon they're just a bit trapped, he concluded after more examination of the subject. Something exploded ahead of him, rather more loudly than has occurred so far, and he flinched. Ack! Workers, destroyers, who had been... Oh, hi there, Tuna Boy. Thank you for coming to the ASMR stream. I'm just reading a Warhammer book called The Gobbo's Revenge. And apparently it's like a Christmas theme Warhammer book. How you doing? I have a fun time like reading this book so far. I think it's like the first time. This is actually the first time that I have read a Warhammer book, so my voice is cute. Thank you. I don't really think it's cute, but you know, if you think it's cute, I guess. Ruckus destroyers. I think I should lower the volume of the music. Okay. Hold on. Ruckus destroyers. I love the name. Who have been clumping along at the steady pace of orcs who knew they weren't going to get anywhere first, but were equally sure that the fight would still be going on by the time they arrived, suddenly accelerated. Built-in shelters at the armor, in the armor. What is a shelter? Is it like a headphone, megaphone or something? In the armor amplified their already deep, powerful voice as they bellowed war cries. Wah! Wah! And they attempted a head through a large hole in a wall. Fingwit thought it had probably held a door at one point, at least twice the height of an orc and easily more than that across. Let me drink some water. But judging by the shred of torn and twisted metal around the edges, Sator had been incapable of standing up to the thick wall. Sorry for being loud. Advance.
Now remember,
Klaus roared.
we'll fight on this. We need that we have gotta go through them. I got it. Our job is to get to the ones and blow that Yumi's jib up with them. That's gonna be much more fun than killing a few Yumis here.
He added. Sorry. Yeah. You clearly realize that I'm voice acting here, do you? He added, obviously trying to convince himself. As a Nick, the opportunity to mess around with Yumi's guns would be a huge draw, and one of the very main reasons why an orc would pass up the chance for decent scrap here now. For others, less technically oriented orcs, it was no contest. So far as the fingers were concerned, any battle they couldn't avoid outright was the best sneak up through with no one taking any notice of them. So this was music to their pointed green ears. However, they still did their best to look suitably charming. What is this word? Hold on. It's like embarrassing. Chagrin. How do you spell this?
Chagrined.
Chagrin, as though it was only close, stern words that were preventing them from charging at the Yumis with plaster and James Brown, and the names of Gog and Mark on the lips. It was always good to make an orc think you wanted to fight the enemy, so long as that didn't mean you actually had to fight the enemy. Wait, what does this mean? It's always good to make an outing when you wanted to fight the enemy, so it didn't mean that you actually... Okay. I guess the question would be a bit murky. Wouldn't you know? Although, if you did have to fight the enemy, it was still advisable to look like you wanted to, since the enemy was probably less scary than the orcs. Yeah, that the orcs ordering you to fight might actually be more scared than you, and could possibly be prompted into running away before you reach them if you look subtly enthusiastic about it. I was wondering about this. I was wondering why would the orcs... I mean, it's kind of like in their biology, right? It's kind of like in their biology for the orcs to fight. But it's not in the Gretchlin. It's not. The Gretchlin just don't want to fight. and they were being forced to fight, and really, I feel bad for them, but I think biologically, they might be a bit different than yours, right? I mean, they might be related, but I mean, the reason why orcs fight was to spread their mushroom spores around, right? So how could possibly if Gretchen doesn't want to fight and doesn't really have an incentive to fight, it would possibly mean that they don't produce any mushroom spores. So how do they reproduce? How do they reproduce? I don't get it. Think about this, right? Think about this.
Get moving down.
Klaus bellowed instead of a dead run without waiting to see if they responded to his yell. Fingrid was, as ever, seized by the monetary temptation to run the other direction, to abandon his position as head of the fingers, and try to... Oh, wait, what? Hold on. Why is my Twitch... Oh, that's weird. And try to find a better life for himself. The trouble was, he had no idea where such a better life might be found. Besides, although obeying Klaus' yell, the instruction in taking a kicking when he got something wrong was far from ideal. At least Fingrid wasn't the one of the masses of grots thrown ahead of Orcs lying in combat. To get whatever gifts they were fighting properly warm up by the time the boys got them. Anyway, the others would only snitch on him the first chance they got, and then Klaus would come and strike him down. Finley did not much care for the mental image conjured up by that possibility, so he put his head down, ran as fast as he could after his master receding, read glad book, and prayed to both God and Milk that nothing would shoot him. It sounds like you're asking what no one to get shot. That wouldn't be right. And I know it, oh yeah, would stand for it. I'm just saying that there others would not like it better than I would. Those mega boys, for example, they like getting shot cause they can laugh when it bounces off and their kids would shot at them. I get scared. Fingrid ran through the mangled remains of the door, out the corridors and into war. Okay, so that's the end of the first chapter. the Gretchen really did get abused, didn't they? Not just abused, they basically get treated like a slave, you know. So what would happen? What would happen next? Only on way to find out. So, Dead Shooty, that's the name of the chapter. It was a massive space. The ceiling so high above Fingrid, because most places he was ever in had been built for orcs, and he was far smaller. However, this ceiling was tall even by those standards. It probably could have accommodated a stomper beneath it. Wasn't a stomper really big? I can't remember. A stomper is like really big. Yeah, it's like a really big neck. Look at how big it is, you know. Look at how big it is. Like this Imperial Knights, and this a Stomper. Like if you see on the models, this is so big. There's like an orc right there on top of the Stomper. It's so small. Yeah. This thing is big. Holy shit. Look at how big it is compared to like other orcs. Yeah. It's like a giant building. The walls disappeared and outside as well, revealing an area that seemed to be the Yumi's equivalent of a big boy workshop. How similar, they were crane thingies with grabbers on the end, and lifter decks such as those which Klaus would use to raise the buggy off the ground if he wanted to, their fingers to take a look underneath it. But the owner was raising a stink about them just tipping the zocking thing onto his back. Zocking thing. So far as we was concerned, any buggy that couldn't take being rode onto his back didn't deserve to be running anyways. But no one was going to listen to him. And that is like in practice. Great metal storage crates were tied here and there. Massive hoses as thick as things snake across the floor. An enormous fans whirled in the walls, chopping the air into tiny fragments. And everywhere Fingrid looked, Orcs and humans were doing the levels best to kill each other. There were more humans than Orcs by some way, but so far as the Orcs were concerned, that just meant they had a higher target density to aim at. Insofar as they ever truly aim at anything, rather than pointing a weapon in the general direction of the intended target and letting Gog and Mog sort it out. I would imagine there's like a lot of friendly fire between the Orcs because the Orc just doesn't care. Fingrid saw a 20-strong mob of Yumis firing their weedy little energy weapons. Sort of like custom Mega Blaster, but without being very custom or mega. At Ted on Chopper Boys, charging towards them. Only 2 boys were still on their feet by the time their charge hit home, but they each took out 3 or 4 of the enemies before the Yumis managed to desperately bludgeon and stab them down to the necks. And even then, one of them still had his jaw clamped around a Yumi's leg. A different bunch of Yumis had broomsticks. You know, RPGs. And had dug themselves into a corner between 2 crates. Those weapons seemed to have more stopping power, given that an orc that tried to get at him was thrown backwards, missing most of his chest or head. It was hard to tell. However, the mouth of the next mob at the scene. Let me drink some water and oh god. Let me wear something. However, the nurse of the next knob of the scene took one look at the situation and solved it with a rare blick stick bomb. You know, like the, what's it called? Stick bomb is like it's like a thing that the German use. Stick grenade. Yes, stick grenade. Heard overarm and followed by an obscene gesture. The blast resonated finely and loudly against the metal walls between which the enemies had squeezed themselves, and bits of them came spraying upwards and outwards. Boom, they did. Fenwick couldn't help himself. He stopped and gave in a awestruck of delight as the scene in front of him. Fighting was terrifying and painful, yes, but watching a good scrap was a pleasure any crowd would enjoy. So long as this side was winning, or at the very least there wasn't a chance of him being caught up in it anytime soon. Yeah, you don't want to get into the receiving end. Rugged destroyers, looked at him, were clunking across the metal stake, spraying flames and shells at anything that moved. And quite a few things that weren't moving. These desperate homies shot, strangled, or fisted off their armor with little more effect than minor dents or blackened paintwork. Oh my god. Oh my god. I already feel tired. Wow. And the green-faced resistance in front of them began to back off in panic, as nothing they could bring to bear showed any sign of slowing the bigger armored knobs thundering off towards them. The enemies broke and ran. But too late, the destroyers took time to get up to speed. But once they did, they moved deceptively swiftly. The enemies were caught and butchered, either clapped down by an oversized gun barrels, torn apart by energized claws, or spinning saw blades, brutal, or simply trampled flat by the mega armor's sheer mass. Oh yeah, the mega armors, yeah, mega knobs. Wow, I'm already tired, huh? The mega knobs weren't going to have it all their own way. However, the enemies had found what their walkers from somewhere. The earth speedily saw that looked like they were taking their nose cone of a dark shit and put it on legs. It clanged the wheels from behind one of the repair stations. Paused for a moment while it settled back into a mobile. Hold on. Settled back into immobility. With a whine of hydraulics then opened up with his weapon. This was also an energy weapon, unlike the ones carried by the Yumi's food sluggers, it packed a real punch. Multiple sizzling blasts lance out, striking the leftmost of the three mega knobs. Not even mega armors could probably stand up to such an attack, and the gyro stabilizer failed to prevent the knobs from toppling backwards. Oh my god, I just cannot stop yawning. Wow, it's crazy how breathing can do to you. Yeah. Sorry. Its flesh charred beyond toleration. Power line scorched. Divine boss suffered, and kind sharp melted. Ragas and his remaining companion were going to take that from something which looked like it would come off a second best in a shoving match with a killer gun, and they changed direction to head straight for it. The Yumi's rocker shifted aim and clipped Ragas himself on the shoulder, but the beam... Oops, I think you did just hear that. That would be the alarm, yes. But the beam deflected off and nearly bisected Dusik, sending their fingers diving for covers. It would take more than a glancing hit to stop a Meganob once he was on the charge. The walker took a back step, trying to recalibrate his sights, but the Yumi's blood pilot was clearly too shaken by the prospect of death lumbering toward it. Do the job properly. Sorry. The two destroyers reach. Oh my god. To do the job properly, the two destroyers reached the machine above it, could land another more telling shot on either of them, then quite literally cut it off at the knees. The cockpit landed on the ground with a squealing crunch of damaged metal and was rapidly hammered flat with the Yumi still in sight. Finway took this all in within the space of a few seconds. His eyes as wide as a booster blaster. Exhaust pipes and some long buried part of his orky nature surged up inside him. Yes, Klaus had told them to only fight enemies they encountered in the direction he was leading them, but this was too good of an opportunity to miss. Sorry. There were a few Yumis not too far away, sheltering behind a bunch of barrels next to a big crane tower. Yumis didn't go for decent lift and bitter ground much, preferring their strange spider crowd that told you that is more. But those barrels were marked with something that even Finway could recognize what's meant to signify fire. Fire was a bit like squeaks. It was useful. I'm sorry, but how is fire like squeaks? It was useful. It was useful. It was funny. Funny. But and under the right circumstances, you only needed a little to make a lot more. Got a point. Should I start the stream? Oh my god. I've been yawning a lot here. I kinda want to finish this chapter. Okay. So I think this like 3 more page. 4 more page. Vivid lifted his blaster, sighted down the barrels, and pulled the trigger. He might have cheated a bit by actually aiming first, but it proved more far. His shot is true, and although the slug of his blaster was weak compared to the weapon carried by the shooter and slugger boys, okay. I think I have to stop it here. I'm sorry. I don't really know what made me so sleepy doing reading stream. I think it's just the energy that I have to keep on like doing the ASMR voice like this. It's just really taxing here. So I'm really tired right now. I'm really tired right now. Yeah, Tuna Boy. Do you want to stay? We can raid someone if you like, but... Oh wow, I'm feeling sleepy for some reason. Okay, I'm gonna raid someone. Stay tuned. I'm gonna raid someone on Twitch. Thank you for staying with me though. Thank you for staying with me. Alright, let's raid my friend. Yeah, my friend is streaming right now. Shade Apricot. Okay, you guys enjoyed over there. She's actually my real life friend, by the way. Okay, you guys enjoy over there. Okay. But that's it for me, right? Thanks for watching. Bunnies, like, comment, and subscribe. If you don't want to miss my live stream, turn on notification by clicking on the bell icon. You can join my Discord and get notified when I'm live. Links in the description down below. If there's anything to help me improve the video, with a big video quality, my quality, stream quality, me quality, anything at all, just let me know. And if you would like to support me, you can subscribe to my Twitch channel and get access to single unique emotes or only different perks like ad-free. You can also donate and get a special role on my Discord, that way you can support me and support the show. Special thank to everyone who donated to my channel. And that's about it from me. I'll see you all next time. Yeah, thank you all for coming. Turtle, Tuna Boy, even though it was like a small stream, but yeah, I was joining for no reason and I don't want to continue. Maybe we can continue doing another part of this. But yeah, thank you all for coming. And enjoy the rest of your day. And I will not